Welcome back to West Texas View.
We're talking with Dr. Craig Spellman about diabetes and some of the problems that it causes and why we really need to pay attention and work to prevent it. And I'm asking him a series of true-false questions, and this is one: if a person has high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high blood sugars, the most important ones to control are...
Okay, what would you think? If you have diabetes, most people would say, well, that's sugar.
That's what I would say.
You know what? Turns out that's probably not true. What does diabetes really cause? Heart attacks and strokes and all the nerve damages? It turns
blood
out
pressure.
that, that controlling your blood pressure is more important than the sugars. Controlling your cholesterol is more important than your sugars. But controlling your sugars is important because it underpins the benefit of controlling blood pressure and cholesterol. Or think of it like this. What if you went to your doctor and you had diabetes and all he did was check your sugar? You should be very upset. Going to that clinic visit, if you have diabetes, involves three things. Think of it as a milk stool, you know, with 3 legs, okay? I think you could sit on a stool with 3 legs. That would be blood pressure, cholesterol, and sugars. What if I only looked at 2 things? How stable are you? And what if I only fix your sugars? You're going to crash. It's 3 things that have to be looked at. And if we're not looking at all of those, we kind of call that like comprehensive care. You know, this get them in, get them out doesn't cut it anymore for a visit.
But diabetes has become such a pervasive disease that aren't doctors pretty good at checking all 3, or because they're so rushed and the patients are in such a hurry that why would a doctor not check all 3, I guess?
So if your doctor's really busy, that means he's probably a good doctor doing all 3. If he's not very busy, you better wonder.
Okay, good answer. Okay, this is something that I'm really surprised about, is that people with diabetes dies 20 to 30 years younger than the normal population. Is that true?
If you don't take care of your diabetes, it's true. But you know,
30 years off of your life.
If you take care of it, it's false. You can live a normal lifespan.
So if you have been diagnosed with diabetes
Get
and
on
you
it
make
early.
a commitment,
You better get on it early. Take care of it. No problem.
because what people don't know is it's doing some really insidious things inside you if you're not taking care of it, that you don't even know about.
Yeah, you know, most people, oh, my sugars were a little high this week. Here's a good visual for what happens when your sugars are high. Okay, quiz question. Do you know how to make jerky?
Oh, yeah, you just
well, there's 2 ways.
let it cook in the oven a long time.
You can dry it out, or you can cure it in a high sugar solution.
Oh.
So if you have high sugars and you don't care, you're making jerky inside. Isn't that a cool way of thinking of it?
Yes, that is a very cool way of thinking.
Making jerky.
And jerky doesn't have much life in it by the time you eat it.
No.
And so why is there so much emphasis on checking blood sugars?
Checking the blood sugars, you have to check them because, well, I guess if you don't know,
you don't know what direction to move.
and that's kind of true. It's like saying, I'm going to go somewhere. Well, I don't know where I'm going or how I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
So how do you know when you arrived?
Or when you're doing better.
Yeah, you got to check the sugars to keep tabs.
It's your goal setting markers.
It's isn't it amazing that everything in life is just slow and steady every day? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to do well.
And your analogy,
and steady.
Your analogy of simple and easy is fits right here too.
I know. So anyway, sugars. Why do you have to do them? Why do we do the A1C test? Why do we do all that stuff? I'm going to take just a little different tact on this because we know that controlling the sugars is important, but then the question comes, well, what should your sugars be? And that A1C test, how many times have we said A1C this morning?
A lot.
Okay, okay. We should have drilled that in, that this is an important test. In the old days, which means 2010 and before, do you know they used to say your A1C has to be less than 7%? Well, stop and think about it. Why would there be one number that fits everybody? Does that make sense?
It does not
It
make
never
sense.
did to me. What if you're 20 years old, newly diagnosed, young, healthy, and they just found it? What if you're at end of life? What if you have cancer? What if you are at risk to fall down? Why would you put everybody's sugar low and tight? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, I'm on the Texas Diabetes Council. I run a lot of the subcommittees. I get to write the agendas for what we do in Texas. And we write a lot of the standards for how do you do blood pressure, how do you do cholesterol, how do you do weight, how do you do exercise, how do you do the sugars, what medicines do you. We write all these standards for Texas. And a couple of years ago, we said, you know, we're just going to be proactive and change this. It's nonsense to say everybody must be the same. So the take-home message from this little segment we're talking about today is, what should your sugars be? It's based on your health status. And I'm really proud that in Texas, we're the only ones that have said, with this set of risk factors, less than 6 on your A1C. With these particular health problems, which aren't too bad, 7 is your A1C. If we are older, if we would fall, if we can't remember, less than 8 is your A1C. So what's kind of cool is not only do we track sugars, but now we sort of personalize it so it fits the person. One size fits all, yeah, they can do that back in Washington, D.C., but down here in Texas, we do it differently.
And we're really ahead of the game.
It's very
the
surprising.
The rest of the states are looking at us.
It's very surprising.
And
you
that's
know
good.
That many countries, Canada, often Australia, parts of Europe, they adopt what we write here in Texas for their standards, and we're usually maybe 3 to 5 years ahead of American Diabetes Association, ACE, American Heart. Yeah, we're kind of proud of that down here.
Well, we've got to end this program today, but we're going to come back next week and have a continuation, because we have barely scratched the surface. And we are so pleased to have Dr. Spellman to give us his expert testimony about the things we need to know about diabetes. We'll see you next Sunday with another program.
Thanks for joining us for News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery. This has been a public affairs presentation of KWAB-TV and KWES-TV.